In this video, I am going to tell you about system engineer trainee role. They'll conduct the generic training. So I want to give a brief information about generic training for system engineer trainee role. So for system engineer trainee role, the training is divided into two components, generic training and stream training. So I am going to concentrate here generic training, not stream training. So in generic training, they will conduct the FA exams, focus area exams. These FA exams are divided into two parts, hands-on part and objective part. The subjects involved in a hands-on part are Java, DBMS, and the subjects involved in objective are Java, DBMS, Introduction to Cloud Computing, and Secure SDLC, Software Development Lifecycle. So out of 100%, Java holds 35% of the weightage, DBMS holds 25% of the weightage, and Objective holds 40% of the weightage. And from Introduction to Cloud Computing and Secure SDLC, you will get maximum 1 to 2 questions. Okay. Now coming to DBMS, they will mostly test the concepts of joins, on the knowledge of joins, aggregate functions, date functions, and some miscellaneous functions and SQL commands and other concepts. I am mentioning only some of the concepts here, other concepts are also there which you need to go through. Okay. Basically in this, the type of questions are, they will ask the question and ask you to choose the correct query. Choose the correct query among the 4 options, or they can give the query and ask you to predict the output, or they will give the output and ask you to predict the query, or they can give the query and for that query, when executed, an output will get generated, isn't it? For this output, how many rows get fetched? That type of questions can also be asked. Now basically in objective, they will ask a question, and for this question there will be 4 options, A, B, C, D. 4 options will be given, or the true or false questions also can be given, and sometimes they can give the checkbox questions. In question, they will clearly mention that out of 4 options, the 2 options are correct. So you need to select the 2 options which are correct. Okay. So this, and coming to Java, they will test the concepts from OOPS concepts, exception handling also they will test, exception handling. Basically in this, they will give the programs which contains the classes and ask you to predict the output for this program, and some theory based questions are also asked, like they can ask, for example, they can ask the question from final keyword, they can ask from interface, etc. So this is all about objective part. Now coming to hands-on part, Java, they will give the question which is based on daily life scenario based program, in which it contains 3 to 4 classes. Maximum of the cases you will get 3 classes, rare of the case you will get 4 classes. and all these three classes are connected to some kind of relationships. Mainly you can say is a relationship, has a relationship, and uses a relationship, which is inheritance, aggregation, and association. And among these three classes, the two classes can be partially implemented, or all the three classes can be partially implemented. Partially implemented means some of the code has been written and some of the code has not written, which is you need to fill the code. Okay. So in that there will be four methods. You need to code these four methods. Okay, how you going to code these four methods? They will give the proper instructions. So in order to code these four methods, they'll give the proper instructions. You need to read that English statements. Not only reading that English statements, you should understand it, what they are actually asking to you to do in that methods to fill, in order to fill that methods, isn't it? So they will give the instructions. You need to read and understand these instructions. For example, they can ask to invoke the methods which are present in the same class or the parent class or some other class. So how we are going to invoke that methods, that you need to check it out. And so they can ask to perform some calculations, not binary calculation. They will not ask the binary calculations, they will ask simple arithmetic calculations. And most of the cases they will ask you to find out the percentages values, and some addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Definitely you will get the arithmetic operations, you need to perform it. Okay. So you need to read the instructions given by in the question paper, and you need to fill the code by understanding it. Okay. If I want to categorize these four methods as a complexity wise, so I can say these four methods can be, the first one can be a simple method, the other one can be medium, and third can be hard, and fourth can be a complex kind. Okay. And sometimes they'll also can give two simple methods and two hard methods, or they can give two medium methods and two hard methods, depend upon the question paper they prepared. Okay. You need to prepare whatever the methods they'll give, you need to be able to code it. Okay. Now you, in order to understand more clearly, read the notes given in the question paper. These notes are the extra information which they'll give in order to understand more clearly. In that notes only they will mention that either you need to perform the case sensitive comparison or case insensitive comparison. If you miss this case sensitive and case insensitive comparison by ignoring these notes, the sum of the test cases can fail if you ignore these notes, isn't it? Because they are asking you to perform the case sensitive comparison and you are doing some case insensitive comparison. So that negative test cases or the positive test cases in that allocated test cases may get failed because of the ignoring the notes. So your notes are also very important in order to get the full test cases passed. Okay. And read the examples. If you are not understanding the instructions clearly, so you can get the more information regarding that question, regarding that instructions by reading the examples. Okay. Which will give you more clear information about that instructions. Okay. Read the examples. In this way you can go and prepare for the Java hands-on. Now coming to DBMS part, in this they will give you the 4 questions which you need to write the 4 queries. In this DBMS they will deal with the Oracle database. Oracle queries you need to write. Okay. So, 4 queries will be there which you need to write, and these 4 queries will be the same category, the simple, medium, hard and complex. And in hard and complex they will mostly test the concepts of joins and subqueries concept in hard and complex category, subquery concepts. Okay, they will test it. So, you need to write these 4 queries, and this have 25% of the weightage. You can go with it. And in DBMS or Java, the some of the concepts are included and some of the concepts are excluded. For in DBMS, the some of the concepts are excluded, like the normalization concepts and the outer join concepts are excluded. So, go through the table of content given by your batch owner and prepare accordingly, because most of the people they will not go through the table of content and prepare all the concepts, which is the time consuming task, isn't it? So, which is not required actually, because the questions which are not asked in the question paper, you need not to study that according to that question paper requirement syllabus pattern. Okay. So, go through that table of content given by your batch owner also in order to go with the syllabus. Okay. So, I will give a simple example here. For example, I will ask a query like write a query to display student ID, student name, whose names begins with character E. So, how I can write a query? I can write select student ID, comma student name from student table where student name like begin with E character. So, E percentile under the single quotes, like is the operator. So, this query will give you the required output for that particular question. Okay. So, in this video I have covered for system engineer trainee role what are the generic training and what are the FA exams conducted in that generic training. In that again what are hands-on part and objective exams, what are the subjects involved in that and what are the weightages for that subjects, and what are the questions, what type of questions in that can be asked. So, I have given a brief information about this generic training for system engineer role. Thank you for watching.